I'm nervous that Jordan's like so close to me taking photos of my ear.
Is that it? Wait, hold
Come on, buddy.
Hold on.
No.
Wait, that ain't it.
What are you trying to be?
Fuck.
Are you trying to be Kendrick? What? You give him a board, and next thing you know, he's like pushing buttons.
Here we go. Welcome to the Progress Over Everything podcast.
What? What is that? I don't have headphones. What are you doing? Why? Is there music?
Yeah, we're a real show now.
Wait, so you hit a button. You hit a button, and then there's music, and I just sit here.
Yeah, we're going to figure it out for next time. Next time I'll have a bunch of good ones on there. But that was a good intro.
Guys, I already feel like I'm in the dark.
I accidentally hit the air horn a couple times.
There's an air horn in there?
Yeah, we have all types of effects that we just discovered. But
who approves all this?
Progress Over Everything song. You made it. It's your song. It's on Spotify.
All right, well, I know that song.
So we had that for 10 seconds, but I accidentally hit air horns and I think crowd cheering to start.
We need like a real producer.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. Welcome to the show.
Do I ever get headphones or just you? Or
you want to hear the music?
No. I know what the music sounds like, but what I don't like is things happening that I'm not aware of.
So there's a lot of other sounds that I want on here, but I don't want to just turn it into like you talking to me just doing drops the whole time and acting like Kanye. So
all right.
For now we just have
you don't want to act like Kanye because he's pretty unpredictable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to watch. Why did I go on Kanye? Oh, I looked up Kanye this morning when I was training, and I don't know why, I'm sure there's a reason, but his picture on Spotify right now is like a mountain goat. I don't know if he's still doing stuff in Yellowstone or whatever. Do I have to pay attention to this during the episode? Okay. Do I look cooler?
Goodness.
I look cooler, right?
Yeah, you look like you're part of NASA.
Good.
Or SpaceX, I guess. NASA doesn't really exist anymore. They don't do anything.
What do you mean?
I don't think NASA has their act together enough.
I haven't really been following them.
Oh, so you haven't followed NASA at all?
No.
So pretty much NASA, 60 years ago, went to the moon, apparently. And then since then, they haven't done anything.
They did that Red Bull thing. That was the last time I think I saw anything NASA. They were involved in that, right?
Yeah. And I think they now licensed their logo to come out with apparel. So that's about all.
I see that everywhere. What store is that? It's in like H&M or something, just NASA apparel.
You shop in H&M a lot?
No, but I do have one shirt from H&M that I don't mind wearing.
All right. Does it say NASA on it?
No, it's just a blank tee. It's honestly like I'm top of mind right now, but it's similar to the club tee, just not as heavy.
The club tee.
Yeah.
All right, what's up, bud? I'm back. I'm back in Montana.
We got a lot to cover.
Montana's teaching me a lesson right now. Holy moly.
Which one? Which lesson?
I don't know.
That is cold.
You know, sometimes when Jesus, our Lord and Savior, puts hard times on you and you can't quite see what he's trying to teach you, but he's trying to teach you something. I was told that my whole life. That's what Montana's doing to me right now.
Yeah.
It is like zero, a little bit below zero, and that's American zero.
Yeah, Fahrenheit.
So whatever that is in Celsius, but
it's
very,
cold.
very, very cold. So yeah, and it's very windy. It's just angry outside.
And it's like contrast therapy for you because you've just been in heat for the last...
Oh, yeah, I've been in tropical.
You started in the snow.
Started in the snow. Started in, I went to Salt Lake for the Snowed In thing that Heavy D puts together, which, dude, that operation, holy moly.
Sick?
Yeah. Like, watching them pull off that operation with that many different YouTubers and personalities and always having food available and keeping the action going, plus having a staff because everything breaks. So they constantly have like a staff working to like change out tracks and like, dude, it's crazy what they're able to put together.
Did you drive anything?
I drove snowmobiles. I drove a snow bike. I drove a cat ski, like
the one we were in.
No, way bigger, like a $600,000 cat ski. The ones that they have up on the mountain.
Where'd you just?
I got in it because I like big machinery. And then Heavy was like, "You're in charge of this now." And I couldn't figure out how to turn it off, so I just drove it around and like groomed everything.
Did it make you want to buy one?
Yeah. I'm actually negotiating a couple purchases right now, but I don't know what I would do with them.
Obviously.
Other than they would just like sit outside. But yeah, I have a couple ones. I'm looking at some smaller ones. I'm in negotiations right now.
What would you do with it? Like, what are those
So,
outside of snowmobile?
I mean,
Or
I could plow my driveway.
yeah,
I mean, my brain goes right to business, right? So we collectively have whatever a pretty decent private road to our house,
yeah,
and I think there's 15 people that live up where I live. And dude, every month it's like $15,000 in plowing,
yeah.
and I was like,
You're like, oh, that could come to me.
Yeah. But then I think about it, and I'm like, a lot of times the guy's plowing at 4 a.m. or
Yeah,
I don't know if it would work with my schedule, or if my neighbors would like me when I travel for 3 weeks and they're like, someone needs to plow. And I'm like, sorry, I'm in
Yeah.
Mexico. So that dream fell apart pretty quick. But then I was thinking, would it make sense just to have one for cat skiing or content or whatever? I'm having a hard time justifying it.
okay. Everything I feel like makes sense for content if you're really clever about it. And you like try to convince
We would
yourself.
use it once a year. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So unless I get a really good deal,
If we have any, I don't know who makes them.
a lot of people make them.
Okay. If we
But
have anybody listening that makes them,
They run really well, and they drop in price pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
not a great investment.
The one that I was in, I think, was roughly $600,000. I'm able to get the same one for about like $50,000, which is still a ridiculous purchase. So
Yeah.
kind of pulling back a little bit.
All right. So what? And then what else was there? Just action and adventure.
Oh my gosh! I mean, that's where my travel sort of started getting wild. So, it was pretty far out, so we flew there in helicopters, and then the helicopter froze, and we were trying to get the helicopter unfrozen, and then a storm moved in. So actually, the drive back. So I ended up missing my flight, missing my next flight, and then I went to the inauguration, which was a really cool opportunity. I had VIP passes to everything. I was supposed to be like in it.
Yeah.
And because we got there so late, we weren't able to pick up like our super duper VIP badges.
Yeah.
So by the time we tried to track them down the next day, it was essentially like, yeah, sorry, we're busy now.
What was the like town and vibe like? Not town, city.
Interesting. I made a pact with myself that I like no matter what I wasn't going to do an interview, like a street interview.
Yeah.
That's like my always pact. Like if I come out of a bar and someone's like, "Hey, can I ask you a question on a microphone?" Absolutely not. Because they're all just like tricks and weird stuff. But yeah, dude, it felt like a great vibe. Like it felt, I mean, obviously everyone there was like celebrating Trump being elected. So it felt like a really great vibe. Everything was really friendly. It's funny because it's weird going to something like that and then seeing memes on the internet. So I saw a lot of memes on the internet of like trash and stuff like that. And it was like, oh, look at all this trash they left. And it's like, I was there. That's not what it was.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to actually be at an event like that and then see people like photoshopping trash,
how it
or
gets
AI
portrayed.
trash. Because one of the ones that I saw go very viral was the barricades. And there's these barricades that like weave back and forth. And then I saw it with all this trash. And like, because we were trying to get in, we had walked those barricades like 3 or 4 times for a day and they were clean. Everyone. So it's very interesting.
I mean, that's the world right now.
That's the world. That's the world. But I remember seeing that and being like, hey, I was there, because I probably would have believed it if I wasn't.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, ended up going to some like weird house parties, not weird house parties, but house parties.
I saw you were with Masvidal, Game Bread.
Oh yeah. That was at the geez, my life is so blurry right now. But that was at the ball. That ball was crazy.
He was just wandering around.
It was like the size of the Arnold.
Okay.
The size of the
That's
Arnold.
like the celebration type thing.
He was actually really cool because I don't approach people.
Yeah.
Like if I see somebody, I don't say like, what's up? And he was walking around and I gave him like £1 and I was like, hey man, big fan. That's it. And then he was like, oh, thanks. But then he responded with like, oh, you're a heavyweight. And I was like, I just started training.
You like immediately went into like
no,
position.
I didn't even consider doing that. But I was like, oh, I just started training. And he's like, how long? And he started asking me questions, which was really cool. So that was a pretty cool little interaction.
I guess when you're in a room like that, it's...
Dude, everybody was somebody. He was really the only person that I think we got a photo together. outside of that, I mean, I met everybody.
Yeah.
It was really, really cool.
I was looking hard for you on TV, which was good because then it made me watch the inauguration, which I admittedly have never watched before.
Did you see where I ended up on TV?
No.
I ended up on TV.
Well, I saw the soccer game.
I went to the soccer game.
Yeah, I did.
So I was one of the guys down there got us tickets. He was like, "Hey, you want to go to the soccer game? It's crazy."
You're not at this point. We're not in Washington anymore.
Oh no. So I went from Washington.
Right.
I went to Puerto Rico for a few days with Dana. I went to St. Barts, which was incredible. That landing strip is chaos.
That was the one in your video, like where you just watched people land.
We
didn't even look possible the way the planes were coming in.
Dude, because there's this hill that goes down, so you got to come in like super slow because it's a short runway, and then you need to like lose altitude quick. But the winds there are crazy, so it was like gusting 25.
Yeah.
So the way airspeed works in an airplane, I'll bore you for a second. But
I'm ready.
So like when you're driving a car, right? Let's say you're going 50 miles an hour down the road, but there's a 20-mile-an-hour wind blowing towards you.
Okay.
So when you're driving, you're going 50 no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? It's tracking rotation of your tires. In an airplane, if you're in the air and you're going 50 miles an hour, but there's a 20-mile-an-hour wind coming towards you, you're realistically kind of going 70 miles an hour.
Okay.
Okay. So as you're flying an airplane, every single airplane has different requirements to land. So, for example, my TTX, I think, came in at like 72 miles an hour. And the reason you have to have that airspeed is essentially that's what your plane flies at, right? So there's a slow flight, which is where you get into where you're configured. And when you're in a slow flight, everything's a little bit more muddy. Like it's softer, it reacts different because you don't have as much air sort of pushing the plane up, right? So it gets really loosey-goosey. And your reaction time is just a little not your reaction time, but the plane's reaction time is just a little bit more delayed. So it's that's called slow flight. And when you come in, you're essentially in slow flight to land. So that's why,
like traditionally,
that's why when you're in a jet, like you're flying, and as you're ripping through the air at 400 miles an hour, like it's completely stable. But as you come in for a landing, like you feel it moving around a little bit. That's because the slower you go, the more the plane sort of like washes around. So in order to land, you need to get in slow flight. But the crazy thing is that like watching it, the gusts, because they're 25 miles an hour. So I don't know what a Caravan or a PC-12 lands at, but it feels like it probably lands at like 65 miles an hour.
Okay.
So that plane could be coming over the hill at like, I don't know, 45 miles an hour plus having 20 miles an hour of wind. But then the wind just like will dead stop.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, the plane's actually just going 40 miles an hour, which, so it's crazy. And the angle.
I mean, watching the videos was crazy.
Yeah, you come over this hill, and then another way to pick up airspeed is just to like drop the nose and go down, which you have to do to get down to the runway. But dude, you have to set right at the threshold, and then you have to stop. And some planes can stop right away, but then there's other planes like the PC-12s, like they did a pretty decent job stopping. But
is a PC-12 like a private jet?
No, jets can't land there.
Okay.
So PC-12, so my 206.
Yeah.
It's essentially like a much bigger version of my 206.
Okay.
I think we flew there by ourselves, so it's just me and Dana, but I think in total there's 8 seats in the back.
And that's the only
there's no bathroom or anything.
That's the only like airport or runway to get to that part.
Yeah, it's a very, very small island. We had restaurants booked every single night. And you know how you're like, well, let's see how far the restaurant is. And
they're all just right there.
Everything was like 1.2 miles. And then I was like, oh, let's go explore beaches on the other side of the island. It was like 1 mile away. I was like, whoa. So yeah,
that's
that
cool.
That was a really wild trip. So I do a trip every single year for Aaron's birthday. And he sort of forces me to go much more exotic. Like I'm very comfortable, like, oh, Mexico or Hawaii or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's the one that really, really pushes it and says, let's go here. Originally, he wanted me to go to Israel.
I thought it was like Antarctica or something. It was something cold, wasn't it?
So there's a private trip to Antarctica where it's $100,000 per person.
Okay.
And I was like, wait, so
what are you doing there? Seeing Santa?
It's like the most luxury thing ever. Like it's the kind of stuff that like Will Smith does or whatever.
Yeah.
But apparently you take some big private boat and then a private jet and you land on some ice runway and then it's like this fancy restaurant that only you're at. And I was like, dude, I'm not.
Damn, could you imagine if you just went to Antarctica, dealt with that weather, and then came back here and you were like, fuck, I can't get away from this.
Well, and that's what I was saying. So originally he wanted to go to Norway. And I was like, I don't want to go to Norway in the winter. Like, I live in Norway practically, right? And then he was like, all right, well, let's go to Israel. And I was like, I don't want to go to, like, my flight time alone is like 40 hours to get to Israel.
Yeah.
And not only that, like, I don't, Israel's never really been somewhere I want to go, especially it doesn't really seem like it's the safest place right now. And then he ended up on St. Barth's, which is a very expensive island.
Yeah.
Very, very expensive. But we went on the off time, so it was pretty cheap and manageable. But dude, great time. Great time.
Oh yeah.
The biggest thing I realized is I was the biggest one on the island.
Like structure-wise?
Hands down, I had 40 pounds on everyone on the island, which didn't make me feel great.
No? Why? Because then you're like sticking out?
No, everybody is shredded. And not even muscular shredded, just really, really lean. Like the average person, the average guy there's like 100, like 6 foot, 160 pounds, and just like volleyball player.
Yeah.
And they're all just smoking cigarettes and eating little chocolates. And that's like for breakfast, they have chocolate. And I'm like, can I have 2 omelets? Bacon?
Yeah.
Like, I just felt like a giant sloppy American.
I was going to say that like an American.
That's what I felt like. Yeah.
All right. Then what?
So after St. Barth's, I went back to Puerto Rico. I had a day in Puerto Rico. Where did I go? Oh, then I went to Colombia.
Then you went to the soccer game.
Oh, then I went to the soccer game in Colombia.
Are you a sports fan now?
I'm a soccer fan.
Okay.
Or a
football.
Football. Yeah. Hands down, yeah. It was so much different.
Yeah.
Everything was different about it. So they don't have a speaker system for the stadium.
It is the stadium.
It's the stadium makes the music and the sounds and everything like that.
The chants. Did you know the chants and all?
No, I don't know. It was another language. I don't know.
They'd at least get the rhythm or something.
They had very elaborate songs about their team. I was able to yell some things like "American" because we hated the other goalie. He was a jerk.
Yeah,
he was a jerk. And I understand. I understand falling down. I understand injuries, and I get it now.
The best part of that video is like out of nowhere, it just cuts to like the guy. Not that it's funny that the guy was hurt, but like the guy on the stretcher and then like
no, he wasn't hurt. So the stretcher thing is the most
that like made me laugh so good
dude,
when I saw
the stretcher
that.
thing. They're not real doctors,
right?
They're dressed like it's like a circus joke, and sometimes dudes are just like, I can't get up, and you watch them like and take over the stretcher and put him on the stretcher. And I'm like, oh my god. Like, this guy's career is over. And, dude, they carry him to the sidelines. As soon as they get to the sidelines, he gets off the stretcher and stands up.
Yeah.
But I think he has to exit the field on the stretcher. I don't know enough Spanish to understand. But, dude, I was in the whole thing. So, like, when that would happen, I'd be like, fuck you. Like, that guy sucks. And, dude, I was in it.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely in it. And, I don't know, just how passionate they are is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And no one's like, I don't know, just way different than American sports. Like, I
feel it's also too like where you live very much. Like I feel nothing about sports out here, but the last 2 years being back east and like just the buzz around town when like Phillies are pushing for Red October and the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl and all this thing. It's like, hey, this is a big thing that like pulls people together.
Yeah.
Out here, it's like we don't have any teams.
Yeah, and I understood it. The other thing, I mean, there's so much different than like no alcohol.
Oh, at the stadium? Really?
They had alcohol, and the guy that I was with was like crushing them. And I was like, dude, you should chill out. Like, you're not going to, because whenever I drink, I fall asleep. If I drink beer, like midday. He was like, oh, it's non-alcoholic.
Oh, and I was interesting. Never understood non-alcoholic beer. Because beer doesn't taste good.
I mean, I think sometimes
maybe
beer,
some
beer
people's palates.
Okay. Yeah, to a palate. But yeah, like no alcohol. It was really interesting. Like, I don't know, dude. It was just different.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what, like, if I go to football games or anything like that, like, they're very slow moving.
Yeah.
And there's like commercial breaks and like all this different stuff. And I've always been like, okay, I'm not really here for the sports. I'm here for like this experience. And there, I was there for the experience, and I ended up appreciating the sport.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was very interesting.
Soccer's dope.
They also let them be they were very violent.
Like aggressive playing?
Like aggressive play. And I don't know if it was like specifically these refs, but there was a point in time where a dude was like pulling another dude's shirt, and then he flipped him over his shoulders and punched him in the face. And the refs watched it, and they were like, play on. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like he punched him in the face. It was pretty rad. But there was a lot of violence, which was way different than soccer I've experienced.
Yeah.
So I talked to Dana, and Dana's like, yeah, that's not like a normal thing, but I guess down there. So it was really cool.
World Cup soccer, international soccer, all that's different than when you see it around here. But the World Cup's going to be here next year. It's going to be crazy.
This was wild South American soccer. But no, Colombia was rad, dude. Colombia was really, really cool.
Well, welcome back to the cold.
Thanks. I mean, it's been
cold.
It's been hot everywhere I've been for the last 2 weeks.
It's been hot and nice here for the last 2 weeks.
So it was my fault. Not that I'm the main character, but I mean...
But you're a common denominator in this situation.
If we really look at the evidence...
No, I mean, if we
trust the science, I'm the one guy that came back.
Here's how So we got the Bison back, and I had it out in my yard because I didn't have a freezer yet. And I was like, I just had it in like a tote. I was like, hey, let's stay cold out here. And it was so warmed on Saturday that some of it started to defrost.
Oh.
So Saturday night, I was whipping it up.
You and I live in separate places.
Yeah.
I can't leave any food out at my house.
No, I'll get
grizzly bears and mountain lions and everything.
Yeah. No, I just left it out on my deck and it was chilling. But
so wait,
in the sun.
Do you have all my bison?
No, Dana took it.
Okay, cool.
I split it all up. Gave you a lot of the bigger stuff that I know I'm not going to cook.
Thanks.
Like shit you would do it, like bone marrow.
I think we need to square up on that because I paid for...
you paid for your hide and I paid for the bison.
And I paid for processing.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
I think we're squared up. Yeah. Honestly, because processing was a little bit more than I thought it was going to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. It was good. I made so far bison meatballs.
Mm-hmm.
And I made 2 sirloins on Saturday.
Oh, geez.
And it kind of worked out because it was like a nighttime snack. Nadia wasn't hungry anymore. And I was like, hey, I made you one. And she was like, I'm not really hungry anymore. I was like, well, I'm not going to reheat this tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat it while it's fresh. I did a little reverse sear. Didn't have the right instruments. Didn't have the right
utensils.
Like I didn't have what are you supposed to use, a wire rack when you put it in the oven, I guess, so that the fat or juices kind of drip out. I just had like a regular baking sheet, not like a wire one. And then when I went to sear it in the pan, I don't have a cast iron. I just had like a regular pan. Came out banging though.
Okay, yeah, I think you're overcomplicating it.
Yeah, I did a reverse sear.
This,
YouTube.
Oh, so you're on YouTube, like watching people.
Well, I was like, how do I want to? If I'm going to cook this, how do I want to cook it right? I don't have a grill right now, and I don't have a Blackstone to like sear it the way I want it on there. So I was like, what is the, I guess like the safest way to not fuck this up?
Yeah.
So I just hit it with a bake and then a little.
Yeah, the simplest way to do it is just get your pan real hot.
And just cook it. Don't even put it in the oven.
You don't have to put it in the oven. That's ridiculous. That's what a lot of people screw up with. So the way meat cooks.
So this would be what, a traditional sear?
I don't know the names, dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just, if you told me to sear something, never in a million years would I start the oven.
Well, when I was looking and I was like reverse sear, I was like, this sounds like something I want to tell people that I did. So I'm going to reverse sear this.
We're all very impressed by you. No, so I think with cooking, a lot of people screw up is they don't let the pan get really, really hot.
Yeah.
So I just let the pan get really, really, really hot and then sear the outside, and you essentially oversear it. The same thing you do with salmon skin or anything like that. Put down something so it doesn't stick. But the big mistake people make is they don't let it sit afterwards.
To rest.
Because if you do like a big, big sear, it'll sear really nice on the outside, but it pushes all the blood to the center. And then if you, like, as you let it sit for a couple minutes, it'll spread back out, and that's how you get like a nice mid-rare or a medium or whatever. Or you can just torch it, cut it, and then it bleeds out, and then it sort of grows.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, good work, bud. I'm proud of you.
I was pretty hyped on it.
What else did I miss here? You guys have been getting jacked together.
Yeah, we've been training every Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Jeez.
Pushes on Mondays, legs are on Wednesday, and then we do pull on Friday.
Jeez.
It's been good.
All right.
Morning Wrecking Crew. That's us.
The Morning Wrecking Crew?
Yeah,
you guys have a name?
I just came up with it.
I did feel a little uncomfortable yesterday.
Why?
Well, when I came in and you guys were like getting it, I was like, oh man.
Was it our music?
No, I was just like intimidated by the big guys at the gym. And I was like, I hope I don't get in their way. They don't,
You join us tomorrow.
What's tomorrow?
We're going to train legs.
I'll probably slow you down. My back is, I have very specific things I can do for legs because of my stupid back.
Damn.
I'm an old man. I'm the oldest one here. I'm like grandfather time.
You are the oldest one here.
By far.
Damn.
Yeah, by far. So that's depressing. Let's talk about something. All right.
So it's also been a month of vlogging.
Yeah.
So what was going on here was every day we got to watch your videos and just kind of see what was going on.
See what I was doing.
And then how's it been?
Time slowed down a lot.
In a good way?
That's the biggest thing I've noticed is, you know how months just like rip by? Like
Yeah.
I'm sure for you, like January's just over.
Yeah.
But it's just like, whoa, where's the time going? For me, now that I have these markers of time and every day is a lot more intentional. So even yesterday, for example, I was in 6 hours of meetings yesterday, but I have like a time lapse of the 6 hours of meetings. And then I had to tie a story together and then do some entertaining things. So by the time I like processed my day, I was like, oh, I did a lot today. I appreciate it. Like I had to sort of recap it for the video. And it makes me just understand what I do more. I haven't revisited the book in a while, but The Gap and the Gain?
Yeah.
And sort of realizing the progress you're making and appreciating that more than looking forward. And I'm king of looking forward.
Yeah.
Which is, we're trying to fix that a little bit. But it's making me really reflect on every single day. So when I look back at the month, like there's videos from 2 weeks ago that are like, whoa.
Feel like a year ago?
It feels like years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's been really good. It's also daily vlogging's, because I mean, it's not a secret what I'm trying to do, right? I don't, from a marketing perspective, is I think one of the most important things is you can document what you're doing, right? So we can call it behind the scenes, we can call it whatever, but essentially it's me putting together storylines, updating on everything going on in my life. A lot of that's business, developing new products, stuff like that. But I think in the past I would start a project and then like do other things and sort of never finish it. But now for some reason my brain is really keeping track of what I'm doing, and it's like I'm forced to work on my calendar and organize. So all of a sudden, a lot of these projects that used to just sort of float around are now getting dialed right away.
Yeah.
And they're things that make my life really, really cool. The Galotech wall, for example.
I was just going to bring that up.
That was the one that I did. I think I did it yesterday or
Sunday. Nadia got home from the gym. I was like, who's all around there? I'm about to go around. She was like, Rob's in there hanging all this stuff up. I was like, nice.
Well, like that already, like that's a project that in the past we would have started and then never really completed. Mm-hmm. But because of the vlogging, I'm like, no, I have to finish this storyline because I feel like people are going to be curious what happened.
Yeah.
And it's doing really cool things there. So it's slowing down time. It's making my brain really sharp, which I like. It's helping me keep track of everything in my life and all of my projects going on. So I like it, man. I really, really like it.
Now
it's cool.
Now you're home, so you get to document some Montana stuff.
Plus, I think it gives context to like how we build out products and things like that. So, I mean, for example, they saw the Oscar pant. And I think a lot of people think that, okay, so we saw Rob trying on a sample of the Oscar pant. It should be releasing in a month. And it's like, oh no, that's fall.
Yeah.
Like that pant is not even close. Since they've seen it in the video, we've had 2 more revisions and we probably have 2 more. And I think that's the big difference between, we've talked about this a million times, but it's a big difference between us and other brands.
Yeah.
You can just get something, put your logo on it, and put it out.
Yeah,
and
those pants could have been done months ago.
That's a very profitable. That's a very profitable model. But I've been doing this long enough that man, I just want stuff that really, really fits. So I mean, even flannels. Like everyone comes out with flannels, and I can tell you where everyone gets their flannels.
Yeah,
it's from Rothco. Rothco.com. If you're interested
bags, flannels.
If you're interested in generally anything like that, there's a company called Rothco.
Yeah.
There's more companies now. There's independent. There's all these different companies.
Yeah.
But you can just buy these, and for 75 cents, you can sew your logo on it, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm coming out with flannels. And it's like, high five, great. And that's a great place to start. Mm-hmm. But I think at some point in time, if you have enough pride in your brand, you need to sort of work past that. And then you have flannels like these, which took forever to develop. And when you try this on next to one of those flannels, one of the Rothko flannels, you're like, oh, this is 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's because it took us 1,000 times longer.
Yeah, and when you go to somewhere like Rothko, it's like, cool, here's our options.
Yeah.
We picked every Pantone color for
yeah.
every
Yep.
thread you see in
everything
those.
was done intentional. And then the problem is, I mean, it's what we wear. So we wear it every single day. And then eventually you're like, whoa, we could make changes to this. So it's an ever evolving thing. And I think it's really cool because it gives a lot of value to life, right? Like seeing I think a lot of people don't look at life as I can improve this, I can improve this, I can improve this. They look at life like they're shopping at Rothko. Sorry, Rothko. I'm not trying to hammer on you.
No, we used Rothko in the past. Yeah.
But they look at life like Rothko, which is like, these are my options. And then that's where everything stops. And I think that this brand really challenges us to look at life where it was like, what if we can make everything better? Like, what can we focus on? How experimental can we get? How creative can we get? Like, how can we push this? So even when we make a product this good, it's like, I'm like chomping at the bit being like, what's V2 look like? We can make this better. So yeah, it's fun, man. But it makes me look at all of life like that.
I think that overalls were probably a big project to kind of kickstart that, right?
The overalls were one of the heavier lifts. I'm trying to avoid, and I think I have avoided being like, we need to redesign these because they're just so solid and we can't keep them in stock.
Yeah.
Plot twist, I think we secretly restocked them on the
Plot
site.
twist, if there was a very small restock on the site, and by the time you're seeing this, there should be all the sizes and colors available.
Yeah.
The big restock is coming in the middle of February.
Yeah.
But right now we did do a small restock on all the colors. So if you are or have been in search of them, they might be on the website right now. Men's.
Maybe.
Women's are fully stocked up right now, but men's particularly.
There you go. Hard sell those people, bro.
Yeah, that way you could do stuff.
What are you doing?
Stuff. I'm like showing this stuff.
You just put your phone
This is
in
my
your pocket.
command center. Right?
Oh, look at all your command centers you have here.
I know.
I don't even know you anymore.
I'm a real deal.
You're like in an office now.
Yeah. I didn't decorate yet. I didn't know what my rules and regulations were
There's
for
no rules and
decorating.
regulations.
Don't say that. I'll have
I know.
Eric in here tomorrow doing a burner on the wall.
No, Eric's in Japan right now.
I know. I was talking to him. Nice to see him pop up. Shout out to Eric. Yeah.
Eric's a great guy.
We just had
He
a brief
looks really
conversation.
good.
Yeah. He's got nice hair. And I was
Did
like,
you see photos of
I was
him?
like, fuck, why'd I cut my
But
hair?
dude, I think for a little while, I felt like, I don't know why we're critiquing a guy that no one knows right now, but he looked like a little leaner and maybe like stressed, and I wasn't sure what was going on, but I didn't realize how much better he looks now until I saw the photo of him the other day, and I was like, whoa, that dude looks really good.
Yeah. He's dead now.
I know. It's really exciting.
That's what we were talking about.
Jeez.
Well, last time he and I talked, Eric, I don't know how to say his last name. Sorry.
Just try.
Marcinizin.
Marcinizin sounds like a spice.
Got to be close enough.
Did you put any marcinizin on your
on my Bison?
steak?
Eric, backstory, tattooed me in 20.
That's a really fun story to tell. Let's tell that story.
You want to tell the whole story?
Yeah, so
You want me to start? Or you start
I'll
with your
start.
relationship, and
All right,
then
so
I'll
I went
pick
to
up.
art school for
In
not very
Philly.
long.
Go Birds.
In Philly. I think I went for a little less than a year. The reason I dropped out.
Oh.
You want to know the reason I dropped out? Specifically, the reason I remember it to this day. I had a class, right? And the class was, we were drawing like a naked girl. Like,
Okay.
you know, the best
Sick.
classes.
Yeah.
And the naked girl was there, and we were there. And the teacher, it was a 4-hour block,
Okay.
and the teacher was an hour and a half late. So for an hour and a half, they're like, oh, yeah, you can go get coffee or do whatever. And I remember sitting there being like, I'm going to do some math. And I ended up adding up how much I was paying per hour
Tuition.
to be in that class. And it was $26,000 a semester because art school is stupid expensive.
Yeah.
And I was in the mindset of like, oh, I'll just keep taking out these loans, and then eventually I'll pay them down with my career, like that thing you get stuck in. So, and I'm paying it for myself. My parents aren't paying for it. I don't have scholarships or anything like that. Like literally just racking up debt. And I remember doing the math, and it was something like $875 an hour. And I was like, wait a second. So this teacher that I can draw better than, like they're not better, like they're mediocre at best, all these professors, is a guy, like I didn't even make $1,200 was a number I couldn't get. And they just wasted it by not showing up. So I ended up leaving. But anyway, I was in classes with Eric, and we had like this little crew that was sort of cool. We'd like play dice and do whatever. But I sort of kept to myself. And then one day I was drawing, we had some skulls to draw, but you were able to draw them however you want. And I was drawing them. And as he walked by, he was like, wait, what? And I remember this too. And he was like, dude, you're really good. I was like, thanks, man. He's like, no, like, you're really good. And he was like blown away. And I think that's when we really became friends. And we hung out for a little while. I ended up dropping out. I think he dropped out too, because I think he started tattooing. And he had come over and we print some shirts together. And we just became friends, like really, really good friends. And then, you know, I think my brand started to take off. And then he figured out how to start tattooing and really making money with tattooing.
Yeah, so when I met him 2013, I was getting ready, couple months out from competing. So this is
and we didn't know each other.
No.
Yeah.
2013, I go to see him in Delaware. I'm like, I want the best tattoo artist, black and white. Holy shit, this guy is the best, and he's in Delaware. Cool, hour-and-a-half drive. Sick, let's do it. Got on his book, which was easy at the time. Well, easier at the time. Went down there, met him, and we were having a conversation, and we started talking about fitness. So I told him I was trying to, I mean, when you're sitting there getting tattooed, you're sitting with someone for 8 hours.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm doing like this. I'm like into fitness, have this bodybuilding show coming up. So I'm trying to figure out like when my next appointments could be, all this. And he was like, oh, like how into fitness are you? And I was like, I mean, pretty into it. Like I follow all the athletes and the competitors and stuff like that. He was like, do you know Flagner Fails? I was like, yeah. So you know, like Rob Bailey? And yeah. And he was like, I went to school with him. I was like, wait, what? At the time, I didn't own any Flagner Fail, didn't really know anything going on, knew who you and Dana were. But then he started telling me the story of you from his perspective.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, I went to school with him. Then he started his own business. Then he's printing T-shirts out of his garage. I've been up to his garage. I've done graffiti in there. And I'm like, oh, wait, you did the graffiti that I know from the pictures.
Yeah.
So like all of this is tying together, and I'm just like, damn, that's sick.
Yeah.
Like nothing really of it, just like, oh, this is cool. So then at between that appointment and the next appointment, you guys announced the Flex Lewis camp. That's where I eventually come to meet you. And then when I had come to meet you, that was my icebreaker.
Yeah.
Was, hey, Eric said hi, and I showed you my arm. And we have a photo. I was like, we got to get a picture so I could send it to Eric. So we got a picture of me and you, and we're both like pointing at my arm. I texted him that. Then the camp happened, all that. When I went to Olympia, when I went to Olympia the year before, I got a picture of you and Dana at the MHP booth to send to him.
Okay.
And sent that to him, whatever. It was like, I found your friends. And you and I, we still didn't know each other. And then a couple years ago, he was kind of, when he figured out how to actually be doing appointments and hire
also,
clientele and all that.
Speaking about going back to like, to hammer on Rothko again, but by being like, I'm a tattoo artist. Oh, I need to work at a tattoo shop. When he came out, when we bought that big building in Leesport.
Yep.
He used to come out to hang out all the time.
Yeah,
he used to meet
brought the Panamera
very
out.
Random places. So he drove out to Leesport and he was like blown away by what I'd built. And I remember it was when Airbnb had first started.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, hey man, there's this website called Airbnb. Don't tell anyone about it. But I figured tattooing out. So what I do now is, because he was working in shops and you sort of tap out in shops. Like, you know, you got to pay the owner. There's all these different personalities. So he was one of the first ones to start doing like remote tattooing where he'd be like, hey, I'm in London. He has this giant mansion that he rented on Airbnb.
Yep.
And then he'd book days where you'd come over there. And he was like kind of the first one to do it. But once again, just creatively looking at life, being like, what are my other options as a tattoo artist?
Yeah.
So he sort of started that and he got very expensive.
Yeah.
And also unbookable.
Unreachable.
Unbookable.
So I eventually ended up getting tattooed, finishing my arm 2020 when you and I went down there in January.
Because you were like, he's not responding to me. And I was like, let me just text
him.
The
conversation of him and I trying to get on the same page and line that up, because we were talking about him coming up here and doing it in my office and then this and that, was 2 years long.
It's insane.
So finally, when it was like, oh, wait, you just gave me actual dates, I texted you and I was like, I'm booking the airfare and hotel right now. Like, this is happening.
Anytime big players ask about getting tattooed, I'm like, you have to get Eric.
Yeah.
So Eric did all of Andy Frisella.
Andy, yeah.
Yeah.
But I like taking pride in like Eric did me back in 2012.
Like, Eric did me before.
I found
the citizen.
I don't know how we came up with this topic.
I don't remember, dude.
Japan.
We just said he was in Japan. He looks great.
No, but what was prior to that?
That's
we had to got here somewhere. We were talking about overalls. I hard saw the overalls being back and stuff.
You know what we should do is review the footage later.
Fuck.
And move on because we just spent 20 minutes talking about a guy no one knows. But he's the best black and white artist out there. He's never been on any like weird reality TV shows. He's actually just like the best.
A good dude.
Yeah, a really, really good dude. And impossible to book.
Yeah, that was the last time I got tattooed was during the Masters. It was sick because we were in the Denver Airbnb that I rented, and I was just laying there watching the Masters, and can't believe we were going to go to Waste Management this week, and I fucked it up. Sorry.
I thought for sure that I was like, hey, man, I got Waste Management.
It was like literally like just the worst of all the days coming up. That's like the day my mom and mother-in-law
I'm at
land.
this beautiful dinner.
I know.
Right? This beautiful.
I saw the text, and I was
this
like,
beautiful dinner. And I was introducing myself to somebody, this dude, Mike, who owns State 48. And he was like, so what do you do? And I was like, trying to explain. He's like, oh, you're into sports, like you into golf? And I was like, no, but my art director's into golf. And he was like, oh, have you ever been to Waste Management? I was like, no, but we've played there.
Yeah.
And I know that Austin would love to go. I would just need to get tickets. And he's like, bro, I got 2 tickets for you. And I was like, hold on. And I texted you and like you were like, wah, wah, wah. And I was like, sorry, bro. But I was like, you're my new friend.
Yeah.
Like,
the
fact that at a table he was able to do that so fast, like super powerful.
It was cool because they played Pebble this weekend, and I was like, damn, I was there.
Yeah.
Like you and I were there.
We used to go to golf stuff all the time. But now you're a dad and you have people coming in town.
Yeah.
And
I have my first visitors.
And you're cooking bison and stuff.
I'm a different person now.
I know. Not old Austin. Now it's just me. Now I just travel the world by myself.
Traveling by yourself is kind of sick, though.
Well, I travel with Dana, but yeah.
Then you're just on the move.
Yeah.
Did you train while you were out?
I trained everywhere except for Columbia. I couldn't find gyms.
Really?
The hotel gym was too small. They allowed one person at a time in. Yeah.
Okay.
Really, really rad gym, but it was like kind of the size of this room, done really well, but you had to like make reservations and then as I was looking up gyms, like I just couldn't find any. They were, my resources are essentially Google and Yelp, and all of those were very confusing. A lot of like weird little CrossFit gyms and stuff like that I don't want to go to. So, but I'm back now. I'm back. I'm in it. 3 or 4 days training now, so I feel good.
So you're going to get jacked? What's the next?
No, not going to get jacked. Not going to get jacked. I am 250 still, though. Even with all that travel, I got on the scale yesterday. I'm 250. So I'm hitting my goal of staying at 250. And then March 3rd, Dana and I are doing a challenge together, which we haven't announced yet. And we're not really announcing it right now, but we'll be doing a challenge together. You can win money.
Can I win?
Yeah, I think so.
Like employees?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll do, you know what we should do is we did this before when you weren't here. Remember when you didn't work here for 2 years and you were out like doing whatever you were doing in your underwear?
Yeah.
You're just in your underwear all day?
Yeah,
working from your basement. Well, we did that. We did like Dana would give away $30,000 and then we would give away internal prizes too.
Damn, who won?
I think Chelsea won.
Oh,
and then Tristan won once. Yeah, but they both got to the point where like I would go downstairs and I'd look at them and be like, I'm gonna stop trying. They're like they crushed it. But yeah, I think internally we should do that again on the 3rd. We'll include the whole staff. Good idea, buddy.
Yeah. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna train all my minions, and we're gonna all win.
The wrecking crew.
The wrecking crew. That's what I called it earlier. I don't know if it's gonna stick, but
well, what's happening? So when does this upload? Thursday.
This is Friday's episode.
Friday.
Every episode's every Friday. Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, leave comments, share, all that stuff.
Okay.
We had a good question from last time. I have notes.
Oh, okay. Now that we've done our talking about
Buttery Printwear 4700 said they used to buy knives when they were 13 years old at Downingtown Market. And Four Dogs is still a great spot.
Oh, yeah. I think Four Dogs will always be a great spot. I used to buy knives when I was 13. That's when I used to buy knives. I used to go there, and the guy would be like, I'd be like, I want to buy a butterfly knife. And he'd be like, how old are you? And I'd be like, 18. And I was like, 13. And he was like, all right. Giant fat guy. I remember he was so fat. He was so fat that he couldn't reach the table.
It's like a Pixar character.
No way that dude's still alive. Yeah, he was like he reminded me of, The Simpsons? Mm-hmm. There was the dude with like the ponytail on the back that worked at the comic book store. He was that guy. 100% just that guy, and he would just sell you knives.
All right.
To kids.
What else do we have? Dawson is the best code recap. That's doing well. That's for the utility bag.
Okay.
I won't do any flash sales this episode.
I like that
unless you want me to.
Okay.
And then from Hunter, I had to look this up because I didn't know what it meant. FMK. Do you know what that means for lingo?
Yeah. Fuck my life.
No, fuck, marry, kill. FMK.
FMK. Oh.
I had to Google it.
Yeah, FMK. Okay.
So he wants to know the Porsche, the FJ, and the Ford.
Oh, wow. Cars. Obviously, fuck the Porsche.
What? Obviously.
No, we're talking fuck as in have sex with.
Oh, yeah, I guess. I think you meant like fuck that thing.
You didn't Google enough. No. Fuck that thing is kill.
Yeah.
Like, that's why everyone always picks Hillary Clinton.
You're definitely killing the Ford.
Yeah, I'd kill the Ford.
Yeah.
You got to marry the FJ?
Every day, that's just you and that thing with no heat.
No. Okay, now it's harder. Now it just got really hard because there's no heat. It's so slow. Man, so if we're looking for like a long-term stable relationship, the Porsche can't get to my house. But
It's none of those.
That's definitely the one you have sex with. Which one would I kill? Oh my God, I can't kill. I don't have to answer.
Well, you haven't had any issues with your Ford. Everyone else has.
With what Ford?
With your truck right now?
With the Raptor I drove that died on the side of the road the other day?
No. Your actual 450.
Oh, my F450 with 1,100 miles on it that I don't drive because I'm scared if I get over 20,000 miles.
Well, I can't bring up Drew's. Drew's has an issue actively. Both of Dana's Raptors have issues actively.
Fords are by far.
I haven't had issues with
mine.
They're
the most superior, powerful vehicle. I would drive Toyotas all day long if they made real trucks.
You don't like the new Tundras?
You can't tow with them.
What do you mean?
I can't. The things that I do in my life, like you cannot tow a skid steer with a Tundra.
Really?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Damn.
You can barely tow a boat with a Tundra. They're just underpowered. That's all.
Why do they do that?
Why do they do that? They're not doing. Toyota's doing great. They're just
maybe that's just not their
and
market.
then features too, right? So like, you remember your last Tacoma?
Yeah.
Compared to
the one I have now, very different.
Exactly, but also compared to your Explorer.
Yeah.
Like the Explorer, just the interior, the features are a million times better.
I got massage chairs,
and they were the same year.
Yeah.
So Toyota's just so far behind on tech, but they do that because they're not pushing the envelope. Ford's every single year they're coming out with new features that just break. But at least they're like coming out with new features. So I don't know, dude. I'd have to stay with the Raptor to marry. I can commit to that. And I don't want to say that I would kill the FJ, but everything has a shelf span. It has to die one day, right?
Yeah, everything has a shelf life.
Yeah.
We learned that. We did.
Man, that was a hard question. Jeez. I don't even like my answer.
Do you want to change it?
No, there's no other option.
Yeah. I guess there's not.
That's it. That's
really?
it.
All right. That's it for the episode?
I don't know. I feel like you're the one.
I'm kind of, to be honest with you, I don't, it's probably just because we got this new lighting set up and all. I have like sweat dripping down my back right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I wore a hoodie underneath.
That's why I wear these glasses. Everybody always wonders.
Why?
It just takes the edge off a little bit.
What do you mean?
Because I don't sleep much. I stare at screens all day. I always feel like I'm a little tired, and they just throw them on, bud. They just slightly take the edge off. Like just right?
Why are you laughing?
But it doesn't change much. It doesn't change much. But like the glare from the light just isn't as much.
So blue light glasses are not a hoax?
I don't even know if they're blue light glasses.
Yeah, no, they're pink. I don't know.
They're pink. They just, once again, they just take a little bit of the glare off, and it, because I'm not going to sleep more.
No.
Yeah. So instead, I'll just, I'll supplement with Zyn. I'll try to hydrate, and I take the edge off with my glasses.
All right. Life hacks with Rob Bailey.
Life hacks with Rob Bailey.
All right. Well, I guess we could call it here. I don't know if we talked about anything productive, but I felt like it was a good episode.
I don't even remember what we talked about. I'm sure we talked about great stuff.
Yeah. I know when I've been listening to them back afterward, like putting the pages together, I'm pretty happy with how everything's going.
All right. Well, let me know when you're not happy. Bam, bam, bam.
If you have...
Do you have an outro sound on that?
I don't know.
Well, now you can't even hear what noises you're making.
No,
You're just pushing buttons.
Do we want to get weird for a second? You won't hear it, but the people.
Yeah,
will
put the
hear
headphones on.
All right, no, you.
Okay, you have to do hand motions. No. You do hand motions of what your sound you're making. So make a sound, and then I'll try to do charades, or you do charades.
Okay.
And I'll just guess. Oh, applause!
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Hold on.
Fishing.
No.
Okay. Trumpet, trombone.
Trombone.
Oh, this is easy.
Yeah,
Let's keep crushing these. DJ, record scratch.
You have one of these?
No, but you're doing really good.
You won't know this one, but this one's pretty good. There's
That's what you do signal-wise.
there's different effects on here to make me sound like a robot.
But don't tell me.
Oh no, wait.
You could sound like a robot, bro. Come on.
Keep it up. Let's go.
We're out of sound effects. I accidentally made you sound like a robot.
So so we did this game in so I apparently go to Columbia a lot, but I was in Columbia with younger kids. They were 24. I was with a group of younger children, and they were, let's say there was 8 of them.
Okay.
Out of 8 of them, 2 of them were straight girls, 2 of them were gay girls, and then 4 of them were gay guys.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just setting the stage for we might not know the same slang and things. And we played this
from Columbia.
No. So I went down with a big group of friends.
Gotcha.
But it wasn't my friends. It was somebody else's friends. And we played like a game like charades, but they wrote things on pieces of paper. And dude, just like I guessed all those, they were guessing all of them, and I hadn't heard of a single thing they were talking about. Imagine playing a game for 2 hours where it feels like everyone else is just talking a different language and celebrating. And then when they try to play with you, it's like
You're just lost.
You're just completely lost. It was horrible.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
No, it was the worst game of my life because I'm very competitive.
All right. So you didn't win.
So when I don't win at things, I like to think, well, I'm winning at life.
Okay.
And then I leave the room and I'm like, no, I'm the real winner here.
Yeah.
I might have lost that, but I'm the real winner.
So if the Eagles lose the Super Bowl, I just have to tell myself like I'm winning at life.
Do I have to root for somebody at the Super Bowl?
You don't have to.
Okay. Because I don't really like the Chiefs.
So you're an Eagles. Go Birds. Go Birds. You're from Downingtown.
I know, but I've never really seen someone with an Eagles jersey on and been like, I like that dude.
Saquon.
No, not players.
Oh, people.
People.
Well, it's just, yeah, I mean.
I was never really able to get past like the typical
look of
the Eagles fan,
yeah.
Right? Like when I see someone with a jersey on, I'm like, I'm probably not going to get along with that
It's
guy.
the Eagles fan that's like super loud that says he's from South Philly but really lives in like Delaware, and it's like,
and he's
bro.
like drunk and out of shape.
Yeah, that's not all of us.
No, I know. I'm stereotyping.
Yeah.
I stereotype everyone.
That's a whole different comment. That was a big part of like your brand book for a while.
100%.
Why stereotyping is a good thing.
100%. It's learning from your previous interactions to make life happen faster. Yeah, it's adapting and overcoming. It's like if you don't understand how to stereotype things, then I mean, you can call it something nicer than stereotyping.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's got
stereotype.
All right.
And as long as you're aware of stereotypes, right? Like, I realize that in crowds, sometimes I look more intimidating. So people stereotype me, so I have to act different. I have to seem more friendly. I have to engage more and things like that. And as long as you realize what stereotype you're in, you can interact better too.
That's true. If you
Life
like,
hacks with Rob Bailey.
if you, we need that as a drop. If you stereotype yourself on your situation.
Yeah, like so when I was in like a really interesting phase. I had like tons of piercings in my face. I had like a bleached mohawk. I drove some ridiculous stupid car. And whenever I got pulled over, like in my head, I was like, the cop's gonna think
You're already the bad guy.
well, the cop's like, he's gonna think I have drugs on me. He thinks I'm up to no good. So I need to do everything I can to show him that I'm not what I look like.
Yeah. I'm
So,
just
like, I don't know.
expressing myself.
Yeah, and the same thing with like even being in the gym and being larger is a lot of times I look angry in the gym and I'm like super focused. So people think I'm a dick or they think I'm a dick. They stereotype me as a dick or whatever. So I realized really early on, like the more people you interact with in the gym, and if I'm friendly and I smile, they're like, oh shit, like I actually like this guy.
Yeah.
I looked at him and I thought he was an asshole because has a mohawk or whatever, and like whatever. So I think, yeah, it's bad, but people are going to do it no matter what. And if you can figure out how they're going to stereotype you, then you can like almost reverse engineer it and operate better.
Reverse seer stereotype. Boom. Full circle, baby.
Yeah. You don't even. Oh, I heard that. I heard that. Now, I'm sure there's some bad stereotypings because I'm a privileged white guy, but, you know, I just wanted to end with that.
Good night, Dana.
Good night, Dana.